Hey guys, what's going on? It's Carlton here. I'm 24. I'm from the UK. First off, I just want to say I never thought I'd be doing YouTube ever. I've never really considered doing anything like this before, but I think something that I've been suffering with is enough to get me to reach out and try and I guess address the problem. I guess like to get awareness out there is the most important thing. So today I'm going to be doing this video on my journey so far with PSSD, which I've had now for 5 months. And PSSD, where can I start with this condition? How can I describe it? It's life changing. My life quality has been drastically reduced in about 5 months. It's my quality of life has just went from there down to here. It's really affected like every part of my life, I'd say. So yeah, I'm here to talk about this, and the fact of the matter is that this condition still isn't being reported on very heavily all over the world, in the likes of my country, the UK, Canada, United States. It goes on. The list still goes on. But anyway, first off, so what is it? So what is PSSD? So it's basically a condition that can occur after you stop your antidepressants or you get on your antidepressant medications. It's it can like occur like very suddenly. So like if you take an SSRI medication, for example, which is the most prescribed antidepressant medications today, been around since the 1980s. So Dr. David Healy actually says that within like 30 minutes of taking the drug, like you can get some like genital numbness. You can start to feel genital numbness down there on your, if you're a man, like your genitals. So the drugs affect you really, really quickly. They can. But PSSD in general, it's mostly commonly known as post SSRI sexual dysfunction. But what people don't tell you is that it's not just SSRI medications that you can get this condition from. You can get it from, in my case, I got it from a tricyclic antidepressant, which was, funny enough, not even prescribed to me for depression or anxiety. It was prescribed to me for to assist me in high school when I was struggling really bad with IBSD, specifically pain, issues. The When I was referred to a specialist, he was like, "Oh yeah, this can help with pain. This can help with it." And stupidly, believing doctors at the age of 15, of course you trust them, because you're young, you're stupid, you don't know the ways of the world. You believe them and you think that, okay, I'll take this, and it'll assist me. And whilst it does assist with the problem, you're sacrificing another part of your body for that problem. So in one ways it helps you, but in another way it doesn't. It just gives you something else. And this is what it's given me. It's given me um post antidepressant sexual dysfunction for this past 5 months, and it's been, to be honest, it's been absolutely like scary. Like it's been so scary, like these past 5 months. Like I can't describe like how I feel, like how this has happened. Like I wake up every morning and it's kind of just like a reminder of like, oh shit, like I have PSSD, I have sexual dysfunction now. Like it's not going away, and this can persist months, years, or indefinitely. According to medical reports, which I've read, some people on the internet seem to get better after about, like, I don't know, like it can like the time can really like depend. Like I've heard some people say, "Oh, I'm better after like a year, 2 years," but then you've got people that are like, "I've had PSSD for 5 years, 10 years, and I've never seen any recovery whatsoever." And this condition is, especially traumatizing because it can lead to, it can lead to romantic relationships breaking down because, in men, the symptoms of sexual dysfunction can be So like loss of arousal, for example, or erectile dysfunction, like really, really severe erectile dysfunction. So like you can get an erection and then like within 30 seconds, it's like it's gone. It's like completely gone. And that's one of the symptoms that I am currently struggling with, erectile dysfunction, to where it just you get one, but then within a minute it's just like it's gone completely. You can't keep it. Like some people struggle to get it up, but like some people also struggle to keep it up. So it's like I think it depends on like the person, like the symptoms that you're dealing with, but the majority of the symptoms, especially in men, are like I say, like low libido is a big one. So like that, you've got like your decreased sexual arousal. So say like I'm a man, like if I look at an attractive woman, I could look at her and say, oh wow, she's really attractive, but I feel nothing in my genitalia area, which, for a man, that's terrifying. That is really scary to think of, the fact that you find a woman incredibly attractive but you don't feel anything in your genitalia area. It's really scary. And I remember the first time that um I was discovering that I had PSSD, was actually when I was out with a woman, a few months ago, and we, at the end of the date, we kissed goodbye, and then, but something felt off to me during that, because when I said goodbye to her and we kissed, it was like I didn't feel anything in my genitalia area. And I remember, after that, like that day, I came home and I was worried, because I was thinking, okay, so that was actually my like first like encounter like that in my life. Like I'm 24, that was like my first real like encounter, and I didn't feel anything in my genitalia area. And I was thinking to myself, like, what's happening? Is something wrong with me? Like, like, is something affected my drive or something? Like, what's the matter? And I remember I put it down to the fact that I actually really needed the toilet. Like, I really needed to go to the toilet whilst actually we were kissing. So I thought, okay, maybe it's just the fact that I really needed to use the toilet, and like maybe that like caused some disruption down there. But um obviously, as time went on and I just started to discover that, like for example, like when I masturbated, for example, I started to find like more symptoms there. So for example, like when I masturbated, like I would like ejaculate really, really quickly. So like about, it would take like, I don't know, like a minute, I'd say, like to purely ejaculate. And then I was thinking, okay, well, what have I got now? Is this premature ejaculation? Like, am I suffering from this now? Like, is this another symptom? And I was thinking to myself, what is causing this? What is causing all these sexual problems with myself? And, I didn't realize it, of course, until, like everyone, I typed in, sexual problems, and into, and just and looked for a reason of potentially why I could be suffering sexual problems. And I wasn't getting, like I say, as aroused as I was. I would look at a picture of a beautiful woman and I could think, oh wow, she's attractive, she is gorgeous, but then like my genitals just wouldn't react at all. And it was like, what I was thinking to myself, like, what's the problem here? Like, if like during my teens I was like super, super horny and stuff, like I could get erections easily just by looking at visual stimulation. Now it requires me to do it all manually. Like sometimes, like like if you watch pornography, for example, or if you look at pictures, for example, like I have to do it like with manual stimulation. Like the visual stimulation is just really difficult for me to do, and mental stimulation is hard as well. Like trying to think of those things, like the thoughts, like I can get like thoughts like that from mental stimulation, but it takes a lot of like energy and focus, and a lot harder than it used to be, like when I was a teenager. But no, I think it's really scary. And I'm still angry about this, like 5 months later. Like I can't believe this has happened. Like, so now I want to talk about how this has happened, like how has it happened? You know, what's happened to give me this PSSD? What's happened to, you know, to inflict these sexual problems on me, you know? And at the age of 24, when I'm thinking to myself, okay, like I'm 24 now, in the future, I would ideally love to have a partner and have, you know, kids. You know, a lot of people aspire to children, to have a wife, and that's something I've always aspired to as well. You know, like I've always wanted that, and now I'm thinking with this, it's just like I'm just scared because it's like, how can I, how am I going to navigate the dating world now when, you know, this has happened to me? Like I'm at a pure disadvantage now because like if I can't satisfy a woman sexually, like as good as she wants, then that's a problem. Like that's gonna be a huge problem in the future, you know, like in terms of romantic relationships, you know, because I'd want that. Like you'd want that for your partner, right? So like if you were with a partner, you'd want to satisfy them sexually, you know, like you'd want to do that because you're in love with them, you know, you want to make them feel good, you want to have that great encounter with them, and you know it's all part of like being who you are as a human being. Like you want to feel relaxed with someone and feel intimate, you know, that's what us humans are, you know, we're, you know, born for in a way. Like sometimes we're born for that intimacy, you know, like if you take that intimacy away from humans, then you're taking away like part of us as a whole. Like you're taking away a part of humanity, in my opinion. um but no, like how how this has happened, you know, it all stems back for me personally from a trip to the doctor's appointment earlier in this year in April. So I got a telephone consultation call from my doctor, who said that, oh, Carlton, you've been on nortriptyline, which was the drug I'd been given for IBSD, you know, many years ago to help with the pain aspect of it. And he said, okay, you've been on this for a long time now. It's probably best if we get you off of it. You know, because he said that the NHS, which is the primary healthcare system here in the UK, would be putting on something called a red list or something, meaning that maybe they might be discontinuing the drug in the future. So it was better to like get me off of it. So me being me, of course, like I trust doctors. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, we can do this. Like maybe it's time, like you say, to get off of it. Maybe it's not aiding me the way that it should be, you know, or maybe it's like, you know, it's outstayed its worth, you know, like it's been a long time now, so maybe it is time to get off of it. And you know, but the one thing that really, really, you know, I look back on now and frustrated me about this whole thing was that the doctor, when we got off of it, he didn't even suggest that we wean off it like temporarily. Like the doctor just chose to just stop me completely. What he did was he switched me from, he told me on the consultation call that he would switch me to another antidepressant medication, you know, instead of taking nortriptyline, and I would wean myself off of that one, which when I look back at it now, it doesn't make sense at all why he did that. Like I don't know why he couldn't just prescribe me more of what I was taking and then say, okay, well, what we're going to do is wean myself off of it. Like he switched me to another drug called amitriptyline, which is another tricyclic antidepressant, and then he weaned me off of that instead, which I'm at a loss here. Like I don't know why he did that. Like I really don't know what he was doing there. And you know, when I look back, this is probably a cause of why 5 months later I'm here despairing with post antidepressant sexual dysfunction, because you know, taking a person off a medication that they'd been on for 8, 9, I mean, how long was I on it? Yeah, maybe 7, yeah, like 8 years, maybe a bit longer. You know, when you take a person off a drug that powerful, for that they've been on for many years, of course there's gonna be side effects, you know? So like why, I don't know why he didn't like wean me off that like like slower, you know, like and looking back now I feel like an idiot myself, because I'm thinking to myself like, why didn't you read the signs? Why didn't you, you know, research this? You know, I feel like a fucking idiot now. Like I just feel like I am a genuine idiot because this has happened to me. I've let this happen to me. You know, my sexuality has been like taken, like and sometimes I'm just thinking, is this my fault? Have I let this happen to me? Like shit, man. Like what the fuck's happened? Like I'm sat here 5 months later, with no, with my sexuality completely damaged, and I'm sat here blaming myself, when really I shouldn't be in a way, because I don't really know, but I think if I could change one thing, I would go back in time and I would say, look, this is sketchy, like I would tell myself this is sketchy, be very careful about this, research this, you know, these drugs are strong, they have lasting side effects, and we haven't even talked about the cognitive symptoms of antidepressants as well, which can occur after you come off them. So I've read that many people occur like cognitive symptoms off of antidepressants as well when they get on them and when they get off them. For example, like I read that when some people get off them, they have like brain zaps, for example, or like they just like they feel like numb. So like you feel numb to everything. Like the drug has like impacted you so much that you're no longer capable of feeling emotion. Like you can't feel happiness, you can't feel sadness. So like I read one person say that when, like, I don't know, like their pet died or like their grandparent died, like they couldn't even cry because the drug had impacted them so much that they weren't capable of having that emotion. And that is terrifying, to think that someone could lose that emotion, you know, um, to lose the emotion of feeling happiness, sadness, romance, love. These drugs are just criminal. Like they're just absolutely criminal, and why they're on the market, I don't know. Like it's like I get that with some people they need them, and that's fine. Like if you need antidepressants, fair enough. I'm not gonna sit here and tell anyone what they can and can't do with their life. That's up to them. But I just think that these are very powerful. Like they're not. I don't know how and why me as a 15-year-old I was prescribed those for not even depression but IBS. It speaks volumes about, like, you know it speaks volumes about the pharmaceutical companies and people that prescribe these medications. you know do they know what they're capable of? Do they know that they're capable of removing your sexuality forever? you know this is one thing to ask. It's just really worrying. But no, I think it's definitely something to be scared about, and so yeah, that's definitely for me how I got it. Like the doctor took me off the drug, um, like completely, and then it switched me to amitriptyline and then weaned me off of that. I weaned myself off of it, actually. He didn't instruct me at all how to wean me off, and he didn't tell me about any side effects that could happen, during weaning yourself off an antidepressant. Absolutely useless. Like, I don't know what doctors are playing at here. Like, these are really powerful drugs, and they're choosing not to inform patients about potential side effects, about, like, it's really worrying because we're in 2022 now. Like, patients should have this knowledge and this access to be able to choose decisions for themselves, especially 15-year-old children who are put on these drugs. Like, like, do people like take a step back and realize what they're doing? They could be potentially castrating children, for like their lives. Like, once they get off these drugs, they could be potentially, like you say, they could have sexual dysfunction forever. And it's like, then that in purely impacts their abilities to have partners, relationships, and that's what I'm thinking now. Like, I'm sat here at 24 years of age thinking to myself, like, how's this gonna work now? Because, I'm angry. I'm angry about it because I'm now thinking to myself, like, why is a woman going to want me? Why is a woman going to want someone like who is like this, who can't potentially perform and can't give them that sexual experience that they are probably craving? Like, I might not be capable of that anymore, and that's like, that is I don't really know what to say. Like, I'm terrified, to be honest. Like, I'm absolutely terrified to think about the fact that this could be it for me. Like, this could potentially hinder like future relationships. You know, like so it's like so I'm thinking like, so the next time like a girl is interested in me, for example, like how am I going to approach it? Because like, you know, if she becomes interested in me romantically, then it's like how do I approach that? Because, you know, I would really, really want to go out with her, you know, if I liked her too, but PSSD would just be in the back of my mind all the time, thinking like, okay, well, what are you gonna do here? You gonna tell her about this, or you know, like, but then you would be thinking to yourself, oh, it might turn people away from you. It might get them not like they might not be interested in you anymore, you know. So what do you do? Like, you know, like it's potentially hindering to think about the fact that this could potentially hinder marriage, for example, like, you know, like for example, if you want to get married, like how is this going to impact potential marriages and you know, like stuff like that. Like I've always acquired and wanted to do that. Like I've always wanted to have a partner, like a lifelong partner, for example. You know, it's I don't know, it's just it's tough because I think to myself like it's I don't know, for me like personally this year has just been kind of tough. Um, like I actually lost like my ex girlfriend like January time, and then like 4 months later I was diagnosed. Like I was like I had I'd been obviously gone to the doctor, and then obviously the doctor told me, oh, get off the meds, and then like I'm sat here 5 months later and it's just like PSSD. So it's like in that time I've lost a romantic relationship, and although that romantic relationship was unfortunately entirely long distance, I was incredibly in love um with that woman, and for that to end, I was really really sad there, and still am. Like I still like I remember when I started to realize that I had PSSD. um I really wanted to reach out to her because I was thinking to myself, like, I was just really scared. Like, you know, like during our time together, she'd always supported me through everything. And to know that I didn't have that support anymore, and I now have to face a life of PSSD and trying to navigate the dating world with PSSD, I, I'm scared. Like, I can't sit here and say that I'm not terrified, because in the back of my mind, I'm always going to be thinking of PSSD now when, you know, potentially meaning, you know, dates, partners, potential partners, you know, it is really worrying. And at that time when I finally realized that I developed PSSD, all I wanted to do was just contact my ex-girlfriend because I was so scared. I was just so scared, and I didn't know who to turn to. In the end, I ended up not doing it because I knew that it would be the wrong thing to do. You know, she might be in another relationship by then. Best thing to do is just to, like you say, um, move on with your life and try and get through it yourself. But when you lose that person who you wanted to marry, and then you get PSSD months later after that, it certainly what has been a traumatic event for me, and probably the most traumatic event of my life so far. I can't sit here and say that I'm not scared for the future now because of this. It's really worrying. Like like, and I have to just sit here and say that for anyone who's battled PSSD for like I want to say like 2 years, 5 years to 10 years. You guys are all heroes because like it's been 5 months for me now, and to be honest, like this has probably been the worst 5 months of my life. I'm not like I can't sit here and say that it's not because like it has like everything in my life just went like down, like it's just completely it's changed everything, and I don't really know what the future holds for me now. Like I have a lot of ambition. I'm incredibly lucky that I haven't been gifted with cognitive impairments like a lot of other people have. I've just been given sexual dysfunction, which, at the same time is horrific. Let's be honest, like it's still horrific. But I've read that the cognitive um, features of PSSD are even worse. Like, they can be even worse because you just lose all ability to just function as a human being. Like, it's crazy, and I feel for every single person out there currently going through those cognitive impairments, because it's like they must be sat there and be thinking like they don't exist, like they're just existing, they're not living. And what is life without happiness, sadness, grief, loss, love, lust, attraction? These things are all part of what makes us human beings. And when these drugs castrate us and take away our ability to feel love, attraction, lust, happiness, sadness, then what's left? What's left? I don't know what is left. I really don't know, to be honest. There's not a lot left after that, because as humans, that's who we are. We require emotions to be able to function on a day-to-day basis. And when you take that cognitive function away from someone, it doesn't make them human anymore. It makes them a shallow person of who they once were. And I just want to say to anyone that's currently battling those cognitive dysfunctions, then I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry that's happened to you. Like, I'm lucky. I feel lucky in a sense because, I've been given sexual dysfunction, which is, it's still horrific, but at the same time, at least I can still function, as a human being. Like, maybe I can get by. But, like, I've noticed that the PSSD is giving me, it is giving me depressive symptoms because I'm constantly thinking of it day to day. Like, it's just like, it's always there in the back of my mind. Like, even if you're out, like, I go out maybe, and like, I see someone I like, and then, I look at them, but I just feel nothing. It's just like, you're just reminded every day that, oh shit, this has happened, But no, it's just the cognitive and dysfunction as well. It's crazy that can happen to a person. And recently I was actually reading a PSSD blog. It was about, I think it was about a guy, like a 23-year-old guy. I think he was called Johnny. And Johnny I think he'd only developed the sexual dysfunction side of PSSD. I don't know if he had the cognitive side, but Johnny apparently, the PSSD was so tough for Johnny, and he was only, what was it, like 22, 23 or something. For us, in our 20s or teens, to have to potentially go through this, it's too much on some people. And unfortunately, I read that Johnny passed away because of PSSD. And Johnny, God bless your soul, where I hope you're resting in peace. And to every other victim of PSSD that's gone on to unfortunately end their life, this is a travesty. This is an absolute travesty that this is happening. This condition is happening, and it's not getting the attention it deserves. Like, I was recently looking on the NHS website. So the NHS website for UK, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna check this out, and I'm gonna see that what the NHS says about this problem, about post antidepressant sexual dysfunction. And there is next to nothing on the website at all. The only thing that's on the website which refers to about sexual dysfunction within antidepressant use is, okay, so if you go on the SSRI page for selective serotonin drugs, it'll tell you that very, very discreetly, in 1 or 2 lines, tiny lines, may cause some side effects may be constant, for example, sexual dysfunction. That's all the NHS website says, and all to do with PSSD and coming off of antidepressants. It's 1 line. It literally says can occur, can last. That's all it says. I don't know what to say about that. Like, this condition is brutal, and the fact that it's worthy of 1 line, it's not good enough. I'm sorry. Like, this needs to improve. Like, there needs to be research done on this. There needs to be more there needs to be more done. There needs to be more done about this because this is a serious condition which is impacting millions of young people's lives. Like, potentially hundreds of thousands of people, you know, are being given this condition. And the condition itself is difficult to diagnose because people just aren't aware of it at all. Like, so how do the doctors diagnose something that is not well known about? And I see things that people say. I see people say online that, oh, when I go to my doctor, um, they just dismiss it, or they go to a psychiatrist, for example, and then they dismiss it, and then they're left wondering like they're the bad person, like they're in charge. The doctors will put it down to depression or anxiety and say that, oh, you don't have a functioning sex drive because of your depression. It's not because of the drugs, um, which is a lie because you know if just look at me. I was put on those drugs for a different reason entirely than depression and anxiety. I still developed sexual dysfunction. PSSD is real, and it's time for us to start acting like this is real and try and, I don't know, raise awareness, because this is impacting so many people's lives, and it's gone on long enough now. We're 2022. This needs more awareness, and if I have to put my head above the parapet and, and potentially make a video about this and raise awareness, then I'm willing to do it because, I am a very private person. I can't say that I'm not, but and I never thought I'd be sat here doing this, but in sometimes we just have to bite the bullet and try and raise awareness, because if we don't, then it's not going to get the recognition it deserves, and it's not going to get out there anymore. So, this is just the reason why I thought I would do this. So, yeah, if you guys do want me to make more videos in the future, I will. I will try to get a better setup. I know this is not the most professional video, and I apologize because of that. But no, I will definitely look to get a better setup. If you guys want me to report on my symptoms, maybe 6 months down the line, a year down the line, to see how I'm getting on. I think this is really important that we all report these things and we all say how we're doing, because this is gonna raise awareness, But one thing I do want to say is that for myself personally, like I still have to take some drugs, like, unfortunately, because of like I have like acid reflux, for example, so I have to take like a proton pump inhibitor, and I still take a med for my IBS. So, but really, like, I would say, like, try to limit like your drug intake probably as much as possible. Like, I don't want to speak for any other PSSD sufferer out there. Like, you can do what you want, like you can make your own decisions. But for me personally, I don't know if I want to put any like supplements into my body to try and cure this, because I feel like if this is ever gonna recover, then it's gonna be natural. Like, it's gonna be a natural progression for me personally. But I don't know, like, it's up to everyone, like, what they do. I'm never gonna like go against what another person wants. Like, if they want to try, like, see, I admire people that are trying to find a cure, because, like, God knows that the medical industry aren't doing enough on this condition. So for people to try and find the cure themselves, I take my hat off to that, because the quicker a cure is found for this, the better, to be honest. um yeah, I think the quicker a cure is found, the better. Especially for my symptoms. Like, my symptoms personally are, so I have a real low arousal, for example, low libido, definitely. Like, um, I have premature ejaculation, which is terrible. That's horrible. And erectile dysfunction as well. Like, I can't keep erections for more than like a minute, which that's soul destroying for a man, because, like, that's when you just want to be intimate, with someone and you can't, that's like, that really hurts because you feel like you're a problem. You're the problem. And so it's like, it just sucks. Like, this condition is just horrible. I don't know what else to say, really. But no, like, all we can do is just hope that in time something will be done, and there is people out there that are interested in this, doctors that are taking this seriously. Dr. David Healy, for example, is a big researcher on this, and hopefully in time more and more people are going to be active in this community and try and solve this, because God knows we need the help. PSSD sufferers do need the help for sure. I don't know what else to say apart from the fact that I'm 24 years of age, I've been chemically castrated, and now I'm worried about finding love, relationships, intimacy. It's scary to think that this may last for potentially forever. But the only thing that we can do is give it time and hope that things can get better. That's all we can do, because there's no cure currently. So I guess I'll keep living my life. I'll report back on here in about maybe 6 months, 12 months if you guys want me to. But no, I just want to say thanks for watching. And for anyone out there suffering, I know what you're going through. Please, if you want, like, leave a comment, tell me your symptoms, how you're battling it, how you're getting through your day-to-day life, because I know that this is so tough for so many people, and it's about time that awareness was raised on this condition. Okay, yeah, I'll be back if you guys want. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.